friends, my name's Sandra and welcome to my rooftop in Vancouver, British Columbia. Today's class is all about opening up your hips. So if you've been feeling a little bit of stress or tension, this is a great class to help you relieve some tension that you might be storing here in your hips. Our hip girdle is quite a complex piece of our anatomy, so there's lots of ways that we can open up. And today's class, you might have 2 blocks to give you a little bit of support, especially if you're really tight in some of those areas. We're going to get started in Baddha Konasana, or butterfly pose. So you can begin to come to a seated position with your heels, the soles of your feet together, and your hands just resting to the tops of your feet. Now already in this position, you might begin to feel lots of tension here in the hip flexors, and if that's the case, then placing blocks underneath your knees will be a really nice place to give yourself some support and allow you to come to a nice tall spine here. And again, your hands to the tops of your feet. You can use this as a bit of pressure here to bring your heart forward and lengthen through your spine. You might close your eyes and take a few deep breaths here, trying to let go of tension in your hip flexors and allowing your knees to settle down to the ground or the blocks as you deepen your breath. Take one more inhale. Exhale out your mouth. And slowly releasing your feet forward into more of a diamond shape. And you can choose if you'd like to keep the blocks there or not. This time we'll fold forward. Hands can still come to the tops of your feet as you begin to round your spine and let your head go here. Let it be heavy. Relax through your neck. Allow your spine to round. You should feel the stretch here and the opening into the outer hips. Take in one more breath and slowly release, making your way back and up. And then coming into a tabletop position. And I'm just going to continue to face you so you can see what I'm doing here. But place your hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath your hips. And we'll start with a few rounds of cat and cow, opening up the chest. Inhale, breath. Exhale to round it in as you press the ground away. Inhale, dropping the belly, arching the spine. Exhale, rounding it in. And just continue to move back and forth through these opposite motions, taking one more at your own pace. And after you've finished your last cat-like position, come back to a neutral spine and start to place your right foot out onto the side so that the heel is in line with your knee, your left knee. And just turn your right foot out to a 90-degree angle. And then you might place a block here inside of your right foot as we come up to a kneeling position. We're going to settle here into what's like a side angle or modified side angle pose with the left arm reaching up to the sky and the right hand reaching down to the block. And you should feel a nice stretch here through the left side of your body, but also draw attention into your right hip flexor and just allow everything to sink there because we're really focusing on opening our hips today. If this is intense for you, you can always place your elbow to the thigh instead. Or if you're quite open already, you can remove the block, place the right hand all the way down to the ground. Try to keep tucking your right outer hip underneath you, stretching up and down. And then circle your arms around and back down in front of you, making your way back into your tabletop. Take one more round of cat and cow to flush that out. And then we'll try the same thing on the other side. So step your left foot off to a 90-degree angle so that the heel's in line with your right knee. And then begin to walk your way up to a kneeling position. Left hand can reach to the block and your right arm peels up to the sky. Try to root the tailbone down here as you stretch up and down. And you can always switch positions here with your left hand, reaching it all the way down to the ground if there's space, or modifying by placing your elbow to the thigh. Now take in one more breath. And then exhale, circle your arms back and down, finding your way back to tabletop. Take one more breath. round it off, exhale. And then meet your way back into a downward facing dog, bringing your blocks to the top of your mat. Take a few moments to pedal out here, right and left, working your heels down towards the ground one at a time. And I'm going to offer a figure 4 shape here in your downward facing dog. So take your right foot, place it to the top of your left knee, and then maybe slightly move your dog in so it's a little bit shorter, and then begin to press into a figure 4 shape, bending into your left knee, and then flexing your right toes as you send the right knee back behind you. You should feel the pigeon-like stretch here through the outside edge of your right hip. And then replace that down. Maybe pedal out the feet right and left to let that go. The left foot's going to take the figure 4 shape. Press firmly into your palms as you send your hips high. And the more that you bend into your right knee and you send your left knee back behind you, you'll feel this stretch. So you can really control it here. Just opening up into the outer hips. Slowly release that. Once again, pedal out right and left, right and left. And when you're ready, walk your feet to the top of your mat for forward fold. And feet can go a little bit wider here, just to let everything go and take a nice, juicy forward fold, opening up through the hamstrings. Feel free to rock here side to side or to scoop up opposite elbows and let your head be heavy. Your blocks are always there for support if you're really tight in your hamstrings. Try to let something go. And then place your hands underneath your shoulders and lift up for halfway. Inhale, breath. And then exhale, fold. Take one more like that, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. And then coming to stand, arms lift to the sky, palms touch. Exhale, hands heart center. So what we're going to do is come to the top of your mat. Place your hands on your hips. Root down into your right foot and lift your left knee to a 90-degree angle out in front of you and just pause there. Now arms will lift up to the sky. And then kick your left heel forward. Inhale, breath. Exhale, bend into the knee. Inhale to straighten. Exhale, bend. One more time, inhale. On your exhale, bend and thread all the way back to a low lunge. Try not to use your hands if you can. And then when you found your way there into low lunge, sweep the arms back up to the sky and take your palms so that they touch. Bend your elbows into reverse prayer and squeeze your elbows on either side of your face. And then begin to send your gaze up. Oh, hello. Root your tailbone down here. And keep your right knee over your right ankle. Gaze goes up to the sky, do a mini back bend. And on your exhale, come forward. Stay with your lunge. Inhale, use the core. Peel yourself back up. Exhale, come right back down. Inhale, right back up. And then release your arms to the sky. Exhale, hands to the earth and step back through vinyasa flow. Maybe the right leg stays up in the air. Exhale your way back, downward facing dog with big toes touching. On your next breath, send your right leg back behind you, bend your knee and open your hip. Just enjoy that sensation. One of my favorite stretches, sending that right knee nice and high, keeping shoulders squared. And then straighten your leg and round forward, knee and nose might touch. Then step forward outside of your pinky for a lizard pose. And gently lower the back knee down to the ground. Take a little bit of movement here forward and back just to get into the hips. Lizard can be a pretty intense hip opener. So use your blocks if you've got them to place underneath your palms if you need a little bit more support. All right, now keep gluing that right knee towards your right shoulder, and if there's space, you can begin to lower your elbows down to the ground or to blocks. Place my elbows here on blocks just to show you what this looks like as you begin to sink here into your hips. Hello. Try to relax through your face, your neck. Let this be all about the hips. Deepen your breath. On your exhale, try to release tension. And then slowly release the blocks. Eventually pressing into your hands. Now coming right back into that rounded spine, knee and nose might touch. And then send it back to downward facing dog. As we come to the top of the mat, I'll offer a few donkey kicks. And you might just look to see what this is like before you give it a shot. So you'll look forward, bend your knees, and then heels towards the glutes. Go right back, bending into your knees. Try it again, maybe getting a little bit of momentum. Really try to slow yourself down. And then eventually come to the top of your mat for forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale, breath. Exhale to fold. And come all the way to stand. Arms lift overhead. Exhale, hands heart center. Come back to the top of your mat. This time root down into your left foot and draw your right knee into 90 degrees. Hello. Tailbones rooting down. Arms lift to the sky. Keep rooting the tailbone down and send your right leg forward. Inhale, breath. Exhale, bend your knee. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten and hold it there. And then thread it all the way back. Find your balance as slow as you can. Maybe without using your hands, step all the way down into your low lunge. Tailbone's gonna root down here. Now really focus on keeping your lunge exactly where it is as you draw your elbows and your hands into reverse prayer. Send your gaze up, inhale, and then exhale, begin to come forward. Stay with your lunge, inhale, exhale, forward. Inhale, breath, and exhale, forward. Use your core as you come up, releasing arms overhead. On your exhale, hands come down. Take a vinyasa, maybe with that left leg lifted. Inhale and exhale, downward dog. Big toes will meet together. On your inhale and breath, send your left leg back into the sky and bend your knee, open the hip. Keep lifting that left knee high to the sky. And then straighten your leg as you come to lizard on the other side. Step into your left pinky and gently lowering that back knee to the ground. And I like to start with just a little bit of movement, forward, back, side to side, just before we hold here for quite a few breaths. Now keep that left knee glued to your left shoulder. As you settle here into the left side, it might be very different from your right, so just try to notice that. And if there is space, you can begin to lower elbows down to the ground. And in this more passive stretch, see if you can release tension in the neck. Try not to hold on or to scrunch anything up through the face, but let that go. Focus on the breath. The exhale breath helping you release tension. One more breath in. And on your exhale, removing blocks, placing hands back down to the mat. We'll round the spine here as we pick up the knee, press the ground away, and then step back, downward dog. We're going to make our way forward with a few donkey kicks again as an option, coming high on your toes, bend your knees, kick your bum. Right back into your down dog. Try it again a few times. Building strength. Try to slow yourself down on the way. Eventually finding your way back. Forward fold, halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. And come to stand. Arms to the sky. Exhale, hands heart center. I'm going to be moving here into Malasana or yoga squat. So take your feet as wide as your mat on a 45-degree angle, and arms will lift up overhead. On your exhale, hands through your heart, come to sink down into your yoga squat. And again, movement side to side, just to give yourself a little bit of opening before we hold it. Then root your heels down into the ground and begin to lift your heart into your thumbs. Now, if this is intense through your hips, and it really might be, placing a block or two underneath your seat is a great place to give yourself support. Wherever you are with this, see if you can lift your heart into your thumbs and avoid a rounding through the spine here or collapsing. And instead, think of straightening out through the back. Nice long spine. And take in one more breath. And then exhale. If you've got the block, remove it. We'll move to the option of taking crow pose or bakasana. If you don't want to fly today, you can stay here in forward fold. Otherwise, begin to lift your knees as high as you can into armpits. And then lift one or both of your feet up off of the ground. Squeeze your elbows in as you round your back. Really engage the core as you look forward. And then step, hop, or float your way back. Vinyasa is an option. Moving back into downward facing dog. And big toes touch together. Send your right leg back and up to the sky. Bend your knee, open your hip, and stay here, or flip your dog into wild thing. Lifting your heart, the hips to the sky. Now listen carefully. We'll step all the way forward to the top of your mat, eventually finding our way to warrior two. You might need to maneuver your legs in order to get there. When you found your way there, settle into your long lunge and work here on wrapping your right outer hip underneath you and making sure that you can see your right big toe. Arms are strong, relax your shoulders. We'll move into side angles, so begin to tilt forward. Elbow can reach to the thigh, or if you've got lots of space, right hand down inside of your right foot and begin to gaze up to the sky. So we've been here before in that prep pose beginning of class. Reach up and reach down. Really sinking into that right hip. Take one more breath. And then exhale down as your hands cartwheel around the front foot. Gently lower the back knee to the ground and flex your right toes up to the sky. Lengthen through your spine. And exhale, fold, half split. Inhale, find length. Exhale to fold. One more time, inhale. Exhale, fold and pause. And then make your way back into your low lunge. Hands come down around your spine. Press the round away. And then step it back, downward dog. This time for your donkey kicks, we'll eventually land in our malasana. So take your time playing around, finding a bit of air, eventually landing your feet outside of your hands for our second set of yoga squat. Hands to your heart. Use your elbows to help open up your knees, and once again find that nice tall posture through the spine. You might close your eyes here. Notice into your hip flexors. If you're really holding on to something, see if you can let it go with the help of your breath. And then lower your hands underneath your shoulders, either forward fold or second set of Bakasana crow pose. Wrap your elbows in, puff up your back as you protract your shoulders, look forward. And whenever you're ready, step hop or shoot your way back. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward dog. And big toes will meet together. Send your left leg back and up to the sky. Bend your knee, open the hip. Stay here or flip your dog into wild thing, other side. Open up the chest to the sky. Stay high on the left toes. And then we're coming all the way forward. See if you can do that without the help of your hands. It's quite a tricky transition. Just make sure that your foot, your left heel, is in line with the middle of your back foot as you sink into your warrior two lunge. And take one more breath, inhale. Exhale, begin to come forward, lowering the elbow to the knee as your right hand reaches up to the sky. And either staying here or lowering your left hand all the way down to the ground or a block. And really working here onto the hips. Keep wrapping that left outer thigh underneath you. And then slowly lower both hands down around the front foot as you lower the back knee down to the ground. Send your left toes up. You can always place blocks here underneath your hands. Inhale, find length in the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Last time, inhale. Exhale, fold. Stay with a nice long spine. And then begin to plant that front foot down. As your hands frame your left foot around your spine, pick up the foot. Knee and nose might touch. And then stepping all the way back, downward facing dog. Lower your knees, take them wide for child's pose. Reach your arms forward, then lower your forehead to the mat. Take a few breaths here to reset. Let your weight be heavy back towards your heels. And when you're ready, make your way back up. Downward dog. We're going to take pigeon pose here on the right side first. So send your right leg back and up to the sky, and then draw your right knee behind your right wrist, sending the left leg long back behind you. Now the setup for pigeon, it will depend on how you're feeling here into your hips. If there's quite a lot of space between your right hip and the ground, place a block or a book or something underneath there to give yourself support. You can see that mine is fully touching the ground, so I won't use a block. But try to start by bending your left knee and your left heel in towards your groin to protect your right knee. If you do know that you're very open here, you can begin to flex your right foot and to send this into more of a 90-degree angle. But if you notice any sort of tweaking here on the right knee, point your right foot and draw it in towards your groin to protect your right knee. Option to stay upright or to move down into a more passive, restorative posture. Really working here just on letting this right outer hip settle down towards the ground. And feel free to stay here as long as you like. When you're ready, start to make your way back up, pressing hands down in towards the ground. Tuck your back toes, and then send your right leg high to the sky, maybe opening the hip or taking some movement just to let that go. And then finding your way back to down dog, or the left side. Left leg will reach back behind you. Bend your knee and send it right behind your left wrist. As you straighten the right leg long behind you, just settle here into the left side. Again, use your props. They're there to help you to make this more comfortable. My left side is not quite as open as my right, so I won't come into more of a 90-degree angle here with my left side. I'll keep my left toes pointed in towards my groin, and then gently begin to come down to a cooling variation. Even though pigeon might feel really nice at the beginning, the longer you hold it here, the more that sort of bubbles up to the surface. So try to stay with what sensations are happening in your body, observe them. And try to breathe with them. Again, stay here as long as you like. And whenever you're ready, pressing hands back onto the mat, tuck your back toes and send your left leg all the way back up to the sky. Option to bend your knee, let something go, and then find your way back to your downward facing dog. Now I'll offer one arm balance as a fun variation because we've spent a lot of time warming up and finding more space into our hip girdle. So this is flying pigeon, and there's a great way to get into it starting from a standing figure four. So I'm going to show you that, what it looks like from the front. And I'll start on my right foot coming into that figure four shape, rooting my tailbone down. And I'll get my hands on my hips as I begin to bend into a chair. Flex your left toes. And then if there's space, you can begin to lower your hands down to the ground. If they don't touch, place blocks here on your hands, and then gently begin to press your left knee down as you keep your left foot flexed. You might begin to come all the way down to the ground, and if this is still comfortable for you, you'll notice that you're creating a nice bar here right across your chest. That's going to be a really important part of the posture. I'm going to start to bend my elbows and wrap them in the same way I did in crow, and then begin to shift my weight forward, 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 and wrap my toes around my right tricep. That's going to find a little bind here to keep everything secure so that I can use that bar as a way of holding myself up as I straighten my back leg back behind me. Keeping my elbows wrapped in, and then coming all the way back down. So I'm going to show you what that looks like on the other side, and just facing away from me so that you can see. So I'll try the other side with my right foot into the figure four shape. I can keep my hands at heart center as I begin to sink here into a chair. Hands will reach down to the ground. And then I wrap my foot around my tricep and keep this nice shin bar right across my chest. As I do this, I really need to tip my weight forward more than you think. Wrap the elbows in, round through the spine as I begin to pick up that foot. Keep looking forward, and then you might begin to play with picking up that back leg. Keep looking forward. And slowly making your way back and letting that go. All right. Whew. So that's more of an advanced arm balance. One of the ways that you can practice that to begin is just by wrapping a yoga strap around just above your elbows to keep everything wrapped in, and then to find the strength and the lifting action from the core that is required to hold everything in. And then straightening the leg back behind you is just a fun part in there as well. So I hope that today's class was a way for you to get into your hips, to notice how they're feeling, and to let something go. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I hope to see you back again soon. Namaste.